Hello guys, Bolts96 here, but the O is a 0 and we are back with the latest edition of one player from each Premier League team that each of the other Premier League teams could sign, and in this episode we are looking at Leicester City. Now Leicester City are having a very indifferent season. They are clearly a good side, they've got a very good squad, but for some reason it is not gelling this season and they're actually at risk of going down, which is mad. I don't think it will go that way, so I have picked my choices a bit more on them staying in the Premier League, but there may be one or two where you could look at that of them being down in the Championship next season. But why don't we just have a look right now? Arsenal, Emil Smith-Rowe. Smith-Rowe had surgery at the start of the season and didn't return until November, and since then he hasn't been getting as much of a look in as he had previously been used to over the past couple of seasons. Leicester feasibly could lose Maddison in this transfer window and they will need a centre attacking mid reinforcement. I'm not sure that Arsenal would sell Smith-Rowe on a permanent deal, but I think this one could still happen on loan and would be a good acquisition for Leicester. Aston Villa, Leon Bailey. Leicester City are short of wingers and Aston Villa have an abundance. I do think Bertrand Traore would be the more likely candidate to leave Villa, but I believe Leicester need a higher quality player than that to be able to start on their wing, so I've gone for Bailey. Aston Villa wouldn't be keen to let him go, but if Leicester stumped up the cash, this would be a very good signing for them to get in. Imagine Bailey and Barnes on opposite wings with their speed and directness. They'd create chances and they'd score goals. Bournemouth, Neto. I used to rate Danny Ward and he has improved as the season has gone on, but he hasn't entirely convinced me that he can be the starting goalkeeper for a Premier League team who really should be pushing for European places, as they usually have been recently. Neto's contract is up in the summer and Leicester could pick up on a free. A very good goalkeeper who has tons of experience, and without the risk of a transfer, Leicester should get him in and put some more confidence into that goalkeeper spot. Brentford, Rico Henry. Leicester City actually have pretty good players in their fullback positions, but unfortunately a couple of them are rather injury prone. James Justin can play left back, but he is currently recovering from yet another long-term injury. Their other options for natural left backs are Ryan Bertrand, who is 33, and two young players in Thomas and Christensen. Rico Henry is a very good left back who has a good amount of experience and still not hit his prime, and most importantly has a decent injury record. Leicester would make a very shrewd signing in this one if they went for it. Brighton Hove Albion, Karu Mitoma. I really rate Mitoma. He is absolutely rapid and causes defences havoc when he is running at them. Very exciting player to watch, and he is a type of player who I think Leicester could do with. He'd be an excellent option for them on those wings and will be electric with that already fast front line of Leicester's. Chelsea, Timu Bakayoko. Leicester City currently have pretty good numbers in the centre midfield positions. However, come the summer, Tielemans, Mendy and Chowdhury's contracts are up and we could see big money offers coming in for Ndidi and Maddison. So I do think they are going to need reinforcements in the middle of the pitch. Bakayoko is not regarded anywhere near as highly as he was a few seasons ago, but this could be the sort of move that reignites his career. He was a really good player before he joined Chelsea, and with regular game time he could pick that form back up. I don't think he'd come in and replace those players previously mentioned straight away, but he would be good for squad depth and there is a chance that they could get a good player out of him again. Crystal Palace, Will Hughes. Again, Leicester will need some central midfield reinforcements, and again this one is more for depth than possibly a starting spot. Hughes is a decent player and has some nice qualities, homegrown and with experience in the Premier League. He could be quite a shrewd signing for Leicester, who are going to need to invest in their midfield this summer. Everton, Abdoulaye Doucouré. I did consider Andros Townsend for this pick as a bit of a squad depth for Leicester's wings on a free transfer, but but I've opted for a more exciting one who is currently also going to be a free transfer in the summer. Doucouré is a very good player who would slot into that Leicester midfield. Big, strong and a powerful runner, he would add some steel to that midfield, which will likely be losing some of its biggest hitters this summer. Fulham, Harry Wilson. Good player Harry Wilson, who does pop up in the big games with some unreal goals. He hasn't been starting as many games for Fulham as he'd probably hoped, and a move away might be on the cards. Leicester need more players in the wing positions, and as I've established already, Wilson could be a good option who wouldn't absolutely break the bank for them. His technical play and tendency to cut inside could suit Leicester City really well. Leeds United, Ilian Meslier. I'll be honest, I don't entirely understand the hype around Meslier. Since Leeds have been back in the Premier League, I have seen Meslier make a lot of mistakes. However, I will acknowledge that he is young, he has been steadily improving, and he is a decent enough goalkeeper considering that. Leicester will likely look to get a new goalkeeper in, and Meslier will be one who they could have for years to come. If Leeds get relegated, they will agree a Meslier sale at a cheaper cost, which would suit Leicester. Liverpool, Naby Keita. Naby Keita's contract is up in the summer and he will be available to pick up on a free. I have suggested him as an option on a previous episode, and I think he is a very good option on this one too for Leicester. He has had injury problems, but on his day he is a brilliant player, and Leicester will be able to put him into the squad straight away as a replacement for Tielemans, who at this time of recording will also be leaving Leicester on a free in the summer. Manchester City, Calvin Phillips. I still don't know to this day why City signed Phillips. He is a good player, don't get me wrong, but he isn't getting into that team. Some people might try and put it down to injury, but he has been available since the start of November, and at the time of recording, he has still only played 56 minutes in the Premier League so far this season. I like Phillips, but it was a mistake joining City, and he should move now before he begins to stagnate. Leicester will be a good move for him, and he will be a good move for them, as he will be a starting player in that squad and will provide help to that defence by sitting in front of the back line. Manchester United, Donny van der Beek. I feel sorry for Van der Beek. He was on top of the world before he joined Manchester United, but as has been the norm for a number of seasons at that club, he has been mismanaged and his performances have dropped off as a result. He's a pretty good player, and if the price was right, Leicester could get him in to improve that midfield. Newcastle, Martin Dubravka. Looking towards Leicester's goalkeeper position again, and here is a possible cheap option to bring in. Dubravka is a very good goalkeeper and can be picked up for next to nothing, as he is surplus to requirements at Newcastle. He'd come in and he'd be Leicester's number one for a couple of seasons at least. Nottingham Forest, Jesse Lingard. No, it hasn't worked out for Lingard this season. Apologies if I'm wrong, but it does feel like he joined Forest for the paycheck, to be honest, which is a shame. Lingard is a good player, and with the right move he could find some good form. Leicester is the type of team that he should be joining, a team that usually would be mid-table and sort of fighting for Europe. I could see him playing well in that sort of team and on a free transfer in the summer. What have they got to lose in this signing? Southampton, Che Adams. Leicester City's options up front could do with some improvement. Vardy finally looks like he may be past it. Iheanacho is inconsistent when he isn't playing regularly, and Daka isn't scoring enough goals. I don't think Che Adams is exactly the solution to this dilemma, as he doesn't exactly score a lot of goals himself. I do think though that he could do a bit of a job at Leicester, and I think in that squad he could possibly hit double figures in a season, which is better than what they are getting from their strikers currently. Spurs, Lucas Moura. Lucas Moura is leaving Spurs on a free this season, and there will be a few clubs in for him. He likely will be pushing for a team in the Champions League, but that shouldn't stop Leicester from putting their hat in the ring. Yes, Lucas Moura is no spring chicken anymore, but he is still a very good player with a lot of experience. He would do an excellent job for Leicester for 2 or 3 seasons before he starts to go past his prime. West Ham United, Danny Ings. I know this one is highly unlikely considering he only joined West Ham in January, and realistically, it isn't going to happen. But Leicester need a striker, and there aren't many better Premier League proven ones that they could pick up and who would improve their current options. So I've gone for Ings. Very good striker who has an eye for goal and has previously worked under Brendan Rodgers. In an ideal world for Leicester, this transfer would go through. Wolverhampton Wanderers, Adama Traore. We finish with a transfer which would be a very exciting one and could be on a free. At the time of recording, Traore is going to be a free agent in the summer and will have a host of teams after him. What he does lack in composure, he doesn't lack in speed and strength, which is always going to make him a handful for opposition teams. He would be a very good acquisition on a free transfer for this Leicester side. And that was it, guys. That is who I think Leicester could sign from the other Premier League teams in the summer. I hope you liked what you watched. If you did, please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. And if you want to catch me on my streaming, I do it all on Twitch under the same handle, Bolts96 with the O is 0, and I am also across some of your other social medias, Twitter, Instagram and TikTok if you want to check me out on them. I'm always putting out content, so check me out, have a watch. In the next episode we will be looking at my team, Liverpool. It's been a bad season so far, so we need improvements and this summer's going to be a big one. Make sure you come back for that episode. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you then.